y'all don't even know what's happening, man. Rhino is killing it, my brother. Listen,
Rocking the
welcome back to
classics.
All Politics Local, America's number
Number
one
one.
political hip hop radio talk show. Well, listen, DJ Rhino, I'm gonna let you just go on and talk about what you was just doing, brother, because you was killing it right
Gotta
now,
get that
bro.
playlist. Gotta
You
get
know?
that playlist.
Nothing special. I was just going into some of the early millennium stuff. It came out in the first 10 years since 2000. So that's all it was. Just getting into some early millennium stuff.
Well, listen, man, I like what you're playing right now, though. I mean, who is that, man? What's playing right now?
That's Redman.
Yeah,
Straight out of
Zone,
Newark.
Great
that's
City.
why.
Straight out of
That's why.
Newark.
Yeah. I feel the new flavor right there. You know? Well, listen, y'all. Of course, y'all know if y'all just tuning in, y'all missed the mayor's forum, which was up first. And then, of course, y'all missed Asia. She had a couple of dynamite guests, educators here in the
Yeah,
city of
two very
Newark, New
bright
Jersey
young
City,
brothers. Yes.
doing some excellent things. Well, listen, we've come down to the last 15 minutes of the show. So if y'all got any announcements, let's put those out there. You got any announcements
Well,
that you want to make?
yeah, I'll make mine quick because I know we want to spend a few times to talk about the new ancestor. But this coming Monday, well, actually it's Tuesday, October 22nd is the 23rd annual National Day Against Police Brutality. But here's the but that we will be observing that here in Newark on the Monday, October 21st, because it dovetails with the People's Organization for Progress's every weekly Justice Monday protest. So that Monday, this coming Monday, we will be at the Lincoln Monument at 4:30, 5 o'clock, rally up, and we'll march. The day will be dedicated to Atatiana Jefferson, the young
Yeah.
aunt who was senselessly killed in her own home in front of her nephew as she was babysitting her nephew. And it will also be us pushing, of course, locally, our fight for our civilian review board here in Newark as we get ready to go to the state Supreme Court. So be there, be there. You know, this is a full weekend. Tomorrow, our beloved executive director of the Amistad Commission, Stephanie James Harris, will be at Essex County College, the guest of the New Jersey Association of Black Educators, and we'll be doing an afternoon on the Amistad. They'll talk about the status of the work in the state and how folks can be prepped and organized, parents, teachers, students, to move the needle in terms of making Amistad real in the schools in which we attend. That's going to be at Smith Hall, room 303, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right? Amistad Commission, get informed. This is our history, our culture that is supposed to be infused into not just those schools where we go to, but all New Jersey public schools. Be a part of moving
That's
that
right.
needle and changing the paradigm and how our kids are taught.
All right. And so, we're
And also,
go ahead.
okay, before we go, and also in Orange tomorrow, we'll be doing our breast cancer awareness walk tomorrow. We'll be partnering with the city of East Orange, so we'll start at Elmwood Park. We'll at 9 a.m. Registration starts at 8. We start at Elmwood, walk to Monte Irvin Orange Park, and then we'll walk back to Elmwood. So all roads lead to Orange and East Orange for breast cancer awareness walk
Know
tomorrow.
what time that starts?
The walk starts at 9, registration at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Elmwood.
Elmwood Park.
Yes.
My
That's in
own
East Orange.
backyard.
Yes,
All
it
right.
is.
So, and of course, we have our brother who's in the building as well, journalist Dashan Farag. I guess better known as the
Dashawn
community
Farag.
journalist.
Your Black World.
And so, I want to share some things with us, particularly about this conference that's going on up at the National Black Theater up in Harlem.
Yes, the Gathering for Justice, which I'm a part of, which was founded by Harry Belafonte, and it's also ran by our sister Carmen Perez, and it's also enjoys the membership of Tamika Mallory and Linda Saucer. Today, or tonight rather, which is still taking place in Harlem at the National Black Theater. It begins 6 p.m. and it ends at 10. Beginning tonight, ending on Sunday, the Youth Conference, 18th through, like I said, from Friday to Sunday. And they're asking people from ages 15 to 23 to be in attendance. You can register, go to gatheringforjustice.org and click on youth conference. They're going to be having several.
You mean we can't come?
All of us can come there, bro. But like Minister Barr said, everybody can come to the Million Man March. We're calling for 1 million black people. We're calling for 15 to 23. But they're going to be having workshops and trainings and presentations dealing with countering the school to prison pipeline, gun violence, black self-genocide, racial profiling. And so, of course, the youth is where it's at. So these are not like many of the elders within our community that don't want to move to the side. Right now, these are, Mr.
Train them up.
Yeah, Mr. Belafonte
Train them up.
is heavy when it comes to
In his 90s. I don't mean to cut you off, Sean, but I want to appreciate who Harry Belafonte is.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
He broke in to the industry when black and white artists were being red baited horribly in the McCarthy era. It would escalate during the civil rights movement. That black man never took a step backwards in terms of his commitment to our people's liberation and civil rights.
And he
in
loved
his
Robeson.
90s,
And
he's still there.
He loved Robeson.
Yes,
That was
he
his
did.
mentor.
Yes,
but,
he did.
But as we were saying, Mr. Belafonte, when you speak with him, he wants some of the elders to take a seat. We've had our time.
That's right.
Let these young people take over.
His daughter Gina's doing some serious work
Definitely.
too. Right on.
I've had the privilege of
Gina
interviewing her a few times on air.
Always wanted to work
she's
with
a
them.
bad sister. She's a bad sister.
Sankofa.org.
So, we asked you to, of course, like tomorrow. I'm sorry, I'm just going to give you the schedule real quick. Tomorrow, now it's still taking place right now, the National Black Theater, beginning at 6 p.m. into 10 p.m. But tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then on Sunday from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the National Black Theater at 2031 Fifth Avenue in Harlem World, right up the street from the immortal Marcus Garvey Park.
All right. Donna, you got any other announcements you need to make?
Well, we spent some time to talk about Congressman Elijah Cummings.
Well, we are.
Okay.
Before we do that,
Okay.
DJ Ryan, you got any announcements, my
Okay.
brother? We'll close the show with that.
Okay.
No special announcements. Just peace to everybody out there listening. Peace to all my family. Peace to Hidden Descent, Boom Squad. Peace to Brick City. Peace to everybody out there in the struggle. Stay strong. Keep your head up.
All right. All right. So now we want to close the show out, and we want to, pay honor and homage to the new ancestor, and of course,
And my frat brother.
Congressman Elijah Cummings. What can I say? I mean, he actually had been on the show before the congressman joined the show. And, I remember calling him and inviting him on the show.
Good stuff.
And this was after Congressman Payne Sr. was on the show.
Okay.
And I remember talking to Congressman Payne Sr. and he said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "Call Congressman." He said, "Hey, come on the show." And I remember calling him. He was like, he said, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Congressman told me he was going to call me." And I said, "Man, we'd love to have you on the show." He said, "Brother, anytime."
Right.
And I remember when he came on the show, one of the things he always said every time he came on the show, and he said this when he came on the Congressman Payne show. He said, "Brother, you gotta have me back." And then of course we had his wife on, Maya Rockymore, Cummings, and what an outstanding sister. She wrote a book about organizing hip hop artists politically.
Wow. You hear that, Rhino?
And Rhino, you remember that, right? When we reviewed the book, when he bought us all copies of the book.
Oh, wow.
And so we definitely, she said she was thinking about writing the book number 2 in regards to that. But she wrote a roadmap on how to organize hip hop artists politically.
Okay.
And that speaks to who we are
Right.
as all politics go.
Right.
So it was outstanding.
Yeah, that's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why,
We probably ought to reach out to her.
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna partner with her. We told her that, and we're gonna do that.
Well, I think there's been discussion whether or not she's going to take over a seat. But talking about Representative Cummings, he is, and the day he passed, they said something
Today.
like 2:00 in the morning.
This morning.
Yeah, actually Thursday morning, 2:45 Thursday morning. And then so Joe Madison comes on at 6. So he did like his show was from 6 to 10. So he did a lot of tributes. But one of the things, I attend the Congressional Black Caucus annually, and no matter how long he's been there, how high he is raised in the ranks, he still had a very personable. You can stop him, talk to you, and it was just not a pass by talk. Engage. He had done brain trust on Haiti. You know, the city of Orange has a large Haitian
Yes.
population. So I had even talked about him coming and bringing the brain trust to Orange. He was very open to it. And that's the thing that time is not timeless. We have to, when somebody says yes, we have to be mindful to act on these things.
Right.
Because he's not here to do what he was willing to do. And he's Phi Beta Sigma, right?
Yes, ma'am. I was supposed to be at his initiation, as a matter of fact, in 2014.
Because I know he did an event this year
Right.
at the opening of the Congressional Black Caucus. But one of the things, and I post on my page every year, Representative Cleaver, they did a faith-based roundtable, and it was based on intersectional religion and social justice.
That's right.
And it was every Saturday at the annual legislative conference. And I posted the one from 2017. Very informative. Of course, even though it was 17, information is relative. But just somebody that he would always, just you felt this loss. And I don't know the void they want to fill. You can see that he spoke out, he spoke up for the people that he represented. He did a forum this year at the annual legislature on Black women who vote, or the Black women vote, I should say. So for the city of Baltimore, his family, it's a tremendous loss. We know that he has been sick for a while, so we're thankful that he's not suffering anymore. But he said he's now with the ancestors, and filling that void is something that's going to be tremendous. So.
We have to say too that at his where he was, he was the head of the House Oversight Committee. It's an enormous post
Right.
for anybody to have. But for this black man from this hardcore city with all these problems, he represented so much to a whole lot of people, and he was unapologetic coming after this foolishness that we got in the White House. Right. He held his post with great dignity. He didn't bite his tongue.
That's right.
And he was every bit the person of the accessible kind of leader that we need. I appreciate you raising that, Madam Councilwoman, because I didn't know the man personally, but you could see the thread of respect that he got throughout the media on all sides at the point of his death. In fact, folks were quoting him in terms of how, look, Trump, I mean, all this stuff you're doing, some point, all of us have to go to that space where we're going to be with the angels. What are you going to say when you get to that realm that you've done for those you left behind?
Well, pause right
summed
there.
That up.
Yeah, so before I want to read that quote. This is the Times interviewed him, and this is his quote. I want to send a message that we have one life to live, Mr. President.
There you go.
This is no dress rehearsal, and that the American people simply want to live their lives without fear of their leaders. And we as leaders have a duty and a responsibility to keep our promise to them when we run for office and win, and that is to make their lives better while we're on this earth. That's my message. So that was his response to the Times about the president.
That's right. It was dead on.
And they
It
said
was
in the
appreciated.
years he was known for not biting his tongue during the
That's right.
congressional hearings.
That's right.
He was known for coming at you when
He
you
wanted those records. He was one of the first to come out for impeachment of this fool.
But in years
You know,
past, past, he was still known for that. Years past, he would get at you during the hearings.
But here's the other thing that a lot of people didn't know. He lived in his childhood home.
Yes, he's 20. They say he's been living there like 27 years. The house he lived in.
Yeah,
Yes,
he lived when he was a child in the black community.
Right. There you go.
And that he was approachable.
Yes.
He was.
And that when that whole thing went down with all of the uprisings,
Freddie Gray and all that.
And all of that, he was right in the community, right? So they didn't have to come get him. He was there. It happened in his community.
I saw that because I covered that. I covered when that first exploded. I was covering that for News One.
Yeah. And I remember when he came on and we talked about it, and he said, he told us then, he said, brother, I thank you for bringing that up, man. Because people didn't really, talk about that. They talk about me in the abstract. No, I'm right here in the midst of it. So him and his wife were right there amongst the people when all that was going on, standing down, looking right at all of those people that were occupying the community at the time. I mean, remember that. Remember they had tanks out there, man.
Serious.
That was out there in the community, right?
Serious uprising.
And so, you got, here's the congressman saying, no, I'm here and I'm right here with these people. Why? Because these are my folks. So, we
Baltimore, if you're within the earshot of this mic, you need to pay homage to this
Yeah.
man, study this man, and train a new generation to. That's a solid example to follow.
Yeah,
And
so
just-
I had hit the Congressman Payne up, as soon as I heard about it that morning. And Congressman Payne said he was just up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He was sitting on the side of his bed, just completely in shock,
Yeah, just
because
sad.
no one expected him
Yeah.
to go home and be with the Lord. They actually were saying, because he was saying, I got to go on for a simple surgery, a simple heart procedure, some issues with my knees, but I'll be back to work. And people were talking to him.
Right.
So no one expected that.
Right.
That's right.
And that's why people are in shock, and people are trying to grapple with that and deal with that at this very moment. But what an incredible brother. And I just want to say to his family, here at All Politics are Local, we offer our condolences to you,
condolences.
and definitely we're gonna give you some space, Sister Cummings, but know this, we coming for you.
And so,
Because we intend to put our arms around you
that's
and
right.
for you to be a regular on this show. So we're gonna make that happen.
And just so, as Brother Zai said, go study and know him. But I just want us to give this little. Elijah Eugene Cummings was born on January 18, 1951, in Baltimore. He was one of 7 children of Robert and Ruth Cummings. He grew up in the city when it was still deeply segregated. His parents were former sharecroppers from South Carolina who had moved north to improve prospects for themselves and their children. Now, that's something we can get people started on. They
Yeah.
can do, yeah.
Yeah, go do the research.
Yes. And just as a fight, anything, because about him,
Well, no,
brother,
well, no,
you gotta come.
well, no, this is the thing, family. I began encountering, Congressman Cummings, of course, when he was first elected, and I've been following the CBC for quite some time since high school. So I remember when he first got elected, but I became familiar with him as I did the rest of the CBCs when I began attending and covering the conference in 2005 in person. So he was all. I never got the chance to interview him, but he was always nice to me.
Right.
Like I said, that's how,
Cordial,
like I said, but I've interviewed other members of the caucus, but not him. But like I said, he was always, hey man, what's up? He's the type of what I remember about him. You could be like in DC, okay, and somebody be sitting right over there in a restaurant or like at a Starbucks, and you would never know it was him until after the fact. He was that type of person.
It was part of it. He's
Part of people, like I said, he'll be like in there, like I say, he'll be in a Starbucks or in a little cafe, and you walk up, wait a minute, that was this Congressman Cummings,
exactly.
and then they were like,
Yeah. I think that's what you want people to say when
unassuming.
I think that's what you want people to say about you when you've gone home to be with the Lord. You want people to say those types of things. I think that we can, because that's the way he lived his life.
Yes.
And so we thank you, my brother, for having come this way, man. And we will not let you not be remembered, not here at All Politics are Local. So listen, y'all, that's the end of the show. And we ran a little longer, but of course, y'all listening to All Politics of Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. I want to thank, of course, my wife always riding with me.
Good to have you back, kid. We missed you.
Queen.
For always, I don't say hold me down, she hold me up.
Right on.
And then, of course, I want to thank Zaid. I want to thank Councilwoman Donna Williams.
Have you back? It's been a few weeks for you too, right?
No, you. I've been back. Yeah. So we missed ships passing in the night. Yeah.
And of course, I want to thank Mike and Emmanuel.
Young brother.
For making everything happen in this room. I appreciate them two brothers. And then, of course, I thank Brother Dashawn Farrar for coming through and being a part of the show tonight. And what can I say about DJ Rhino, man? I know I don't need to tell Rhino this, but I'm always grateful. My brother's always riding with me. I guess when the book is written, Rhino, I guess me and you be writing the footnotes. Other people can write chapters,
Right on.
but they won't be able to
Details.
Right.
Battles are won and lost in the details.
They will not be able to write
Fidel
the
said.
footnotes.
That's right. I hear
I
that.
think the only two, Rhino, that can really write the footnotes is gonna be me and you. Because Rhino's been here from the beginning. We've been riding together, brother. So,
That ride wasn't always the easy ride too.
And,
That's real
yeah,
stuff.
I don't know that.
I know that's
And,
right.
so that's the way it's been. So DJ Rhino, thank you, my brother.
Ride,
Appreciate the ride.
And Jonathan is out there listening
right.
to us.
And yeah, and so John is, he's out with a student. And of
Yeah, we
course,
need Gary Curtis, who should have been in this discussion about Congressman Cummings, because that's his turf.
yeah, and then of course Bashir is
Oh,
doing
yes,
doing the
yes.
night program
Mhm.
at Weekway. So everybody's here in spirit,
Yes.
but we got to keep holding the show up and do what we do, right?
That's right.
Carry it
I'm
on.
glad that it's a family of us. It ain't just me; it's all of us. And
That's
then of
right.
course we want to thank Asia for coming in
That's
and doing
right.
what she did tonight.
Thank
you,
And her
sis.
teachers. That's right.
All right.
Thank you.
And so that's it, y'all. Of course, we'll see y'all next week.
Happy birthday,
Same
Bobby
time, same
Seale.
channel. All right.
Yes, happy birthday, Bobby C.
Yeah, happy birthday to Bobby Seals.
82.
Right? Wow.
Chairman Bobby.
Hey, brother, we appreciate the work.
Always.
Won't be forgotten, brother. All right, y'all. This is All Politics Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. Until next week, we don't say bye. We say
Hotep.
hotep.
It's a very simple poem, but it's one